What is up? How's it going? Happy Wednesday. Hope you're having a great week so far. In this video, I'm going to share what to do when you stop losing weight or you feel like the weight has stalled out a little bit, all right? And what I'm going to do, and this is on purpose, is I'm going to share with you what you want to hear towards the end of the video. These are tangible things that you can actually do that might get the weight loss going again, right? If you feel like it's stalled out. But first, I'm going to go over what you probably need to hear first. So make sure you watch this whole video to get the most out of it. It'll only be a few minutes here. But please comment below live if you're watching the video live right now. Love to see who jumps on live. Feel free to ask any questions you have as I go through this stuff. And please comment down below replay if you're watching the replay of this video at some other time. So that way I can see when you guys are watching the videos, when you're getting this information. It actually is really helpful for me to know that. Now, let's get into it. What do you do when the weight loss or the scale stops going down? One thing that I've learned after coaching a lot of people, over 100 guys individually over the last just couple years, is that most people, the majority of people who say this, that say that the scale stopped going down, I stopped losing weight, are actually incorrect. Like, probably 95 to 99% of people who think they've stopped losing weight are factually incorrect. They are still losing weight. They just don't know it. They don't realize it because they're not tracking their progress properly. Okay? So the number one thing of what to do if your weight loss has stalled out is make sure you're weighing yourself 7 days a week, right? Every single morning around the same time on an empty stomach, no food or water in you, ideally after you've went to the bathroom. That's the proper way to weigh yourself, and you've got to do it 7 days a week. And the reason is this, because your weight, all of our weight, is going to fluctuate on a day-to-day basis. Literally for 2 days in a row, it will not be the same exact weight. It's an anomaly if it's the same exact to the 10th of a decimal point on back-to-back days. So because it's fluctuating, your weight this morning or on any given individual day is useless information. Right? It is irrelevant. But what's a more accurate depiction of where your weight truly is at and where you're trending is the weekly average weight. So if you weigh yourself 7 days a week, you can see what the average is for the week, and you can compare that to the previous week's weekly average. All right? So that way you can know literally for a fact, and this is how we create very predictable results in my Modern Man program. We can know for a fact if you're trending down and moving in the right direction towards your goals and losing weight, or if you are gaining weight and trending in the wrong direction. Okay, and this is how I can be very on top of this for the guys that I work with. Even if your weekly average weight is trending down by 0.2 of a pound or 1/10 of a pound, guess what? You're still losing weight. Right? Like, you're still trending in the right direction. You just wouldn't have realized it. You'd have no idea that you're still losing weight if you weighed yourself just one time in the week. Okay? So, like, a good example, I have guys who, I'm going to make up random numbers here, have weighed in at around 200, right around 200 every day for a week. And they may think or say to themselves or say to me, the weight loss sort of stalled out this week. I stopped losing weight because they saw, I don't know, say 200.5 on Monday, 200.9 on Tuesday, 200.1, right? You get what I'm saying? It's all right in the same kind of range for a week. But what they may not realize or what they may forget is that last week they might have seen 202 or 203 even, right? So just 9-10 days ago, they were 2 or 3 pounds heavier, even though for the last 6 or 7 days they've been around the same amount. So that is a clear indication of fat loss, that they are losing weight despite being around the same number for 5 or 6 or 7 days. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. Weight loss is not linear, right? No one's going to lose weight every single day in their fat loss phase. Not even every single week you're going to be trending down. And that's okay. That's part of being a human. But as long as you're trending down on the weekly average weight most weeks, call it 2 or 3 weeks out of every month, I'm confident that my clients can lose plenty of weight with that type of consistency and with that type of gradual weight loss. All right. So I hope that makes sense. Now, number 2 is that you may need a shift in your mindset. If you're worried that the scale isn't going down as fast as you want, or you're constantly obsessing over the scale and not just looking at it as a piece of information that you can utilize as data, and you're kind of more emotionally tied to the scale, you may need a shift in mindset. And this is totally normal. We all deal with this, and we all have probably overcome this at some point, or are still dealing to try to overcome being more emotional about the scale, okay? But the truth is that the scale is just one small indication of where your fitness level is at and where your fitness level is trending, right? And I know that's annoying to hear. You don't want to hear that. You just want the scale to go down as fast as possible and lose a ton of weight, right? You don't want to listen to trainers and coaches saying, forget about the scale. It's like, sure, like, you're in shape, you're in decent shape, you don't have to worry about it. Like, what about me? I totally understand that. I totally get that. But hear me out on this. Like, I've had maybe a dozen clients over the last 2 or 3 years since the pandemic started, we'll call it. I've had maybe a dozen guys who have seen drastic changes in their physique. I'm talking about significant, extraordinary physique improvements in the last 2 to 3 years without the scale going down much or at all. I'm thinking of a few guys in particular. Their weight, they've been with me for 2 years, 3 years. Their weight has been in the same 5-pound weight range the entire time. But when you look at their progress photos, it's like, holy crap, this guy is in a totally different body, totally different physique. They look way different. And so how is that? How does that happen? So these are cases of body recomposition where basically they gained maybe 5 or 6 pounds of muscle mass over an extended period of time, but they may have also lost 5 or 6 pounds of body fat, right? So the scale, which doesn't measure, body fat or muscle mass, it just gives you the regular overall weight, would say around the same number, even though over an extended period of time, they may have lost a nice chunk of body fat and gained a nice chunk of muscle mass. And again, these numbers I'm using, 5-6 pounds of muscle, 5-6 pounds of fat, they're not big, flashy numbers. They're relatively small numbers, right? But, this is a life-changing amount for a lot of people, right? Unless you have a ton of weight to lose, like 50, 60, 70 pounds or something like that. Sure, like these are smaller numbers. But for the average person who may only have 10 or 20 pounds to lose, gaining 5 or 6 pounds of muscle while losing 5 or 6 pounds of fat, that's a life-changing scenario of body recomposition. And it's way more significant than if you were to just lose 5-6 pounds of fat and not gain the muscle. Or if you were to just gain 5 or 6 pounds of muscle but not lose the fat in addition to it. You're coming at it from both sides, and that's really the magic of body recomposition and why it's so powerful and why it leads to really building your best possible physique. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So basically what I'm saying is they've done both of these over an extended period of time, and that's why the scale has stayed relatively the same for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but their body is insanely different, and they're in the best physique they've ever been in their entire lives. Okay? So focus on these other indications of progress, not just scale weight. That's my point here. Focus on the progress photos. Focus on your actual physique, how you look in the mirror, how you look when you're training in the gym, how you feel, your energy levels. Are they better, right? Is your productivity, your mental focus, is that better? Do you have more control over your stress levels? Are you sleeping better? How do your clothes fit? Are your clothes fitting better? Right? How are your measurements? Are they improving in the areas that you want to improve? Are you getting stronger in the gym? Are you literally like, I have some guys who are, sometimes they forget, like they're lifting twice as much as when they first started with me 2 years ago. Right? Like they when they started with me, they stepped into the weight section of the gym for the first time in their lives, could barely do 10 push-ups, and now they're banging out 20 push-ups. Right? Now they're chest pressing with 50-pound dumbbells or 80-pound dumbbells. That's progress, right? That's life-changing progress. And it doesn't always just have to do with the scale. What other health markers can you improve? I've had guys who have come off of blood pressure medications. Their doctors are blown away, right? Guys going back to the doctor after a couple years of not going because of the pandemic. The doctors are blown away. They're like, what the hell have you been doing? Like, I've been tracking my food and I've been strength training. They're like, man, whatever this is, keep doing it. As if like they've never heard of like tracking your food or, you know, strategic eating and all this stuff, right? So, you know, if these things are improving, even if the scale isn't down as much as you want to just yet, you're going in the right direction. You're making progress in your fitness and your health, okay? And this is the last point I'll leave you with here. Number 3, realize that you need to adjust your nutrition and your program over time. If I could just give you a list of exactly what to eat and you just eat that for the rest of your life and eat that exact amount of food for the rest of your life, 70% of Americans wouldn't be overweight, right? That would be a pretty simple solution. You need to adapt your program. What works for you now, maybe you're 40 or 50 or 60 years old, probably is not the same program or approach that would have worked for you when you were 20 or 25, or it doesn't need to be as fine-tuned if you're 20. But if you're 45 or 55, you may need a little bit more of a clear program in place, more of a clear plan in place, and you know, get things a little bit more right on the nutrition side compared to just going to the gym and doing whatever the hell you want to do, or just trying to, you know, for a week eat clean and, you know, you're going to see results like when you were 20, right? You're going to need to adapt to these things over time. You're not going to be eating the same amount of food 6 months from today as you are right now, right? I will have 0 clients out of 40. We're working with about 40 guys right now. I will have 0 clients eating the same amount of food in March and April as what they're currently eating today. No one will be eating the same exact amount of food as they're eating today 6 months away. Okay? And the reason is that our body adjusts to the amount of food that we eat, right? And our metabolism adjusts based on how much food we eat. That's why my metabolism, when I'm preparing for my men's physique show, my metabolism comes down. My metabolism gets weaker and weaker as I'm eating less and less and less preparing for the show. I'm really like challenging my body, challenging my metabolism. And now what I'm doing is I'm building my metabolism back up. I'm introducing more food into my diet very slowly and gradually and strategically. I'm building that metabolism back up. I'm building up, you know, my body, my energy, my strength levels, all this stuff. Okay? So just like, you know, you may need to adjust your nutrition to accelerate your weight loss and your fat loss. Once you reach your goal weight, or once you successfully lose the weight that you want to lose, you'll need to adjust your nutrition and your program to be able to sustain it. Because what got you to that 20-pound weight loss or that 30-pound weight loss or whatever goal target you're going for is not going to be what helps you maintain it. This is what so many people don't get, and why so many people are yo-yo dieting. They try to do the same thing that got them to lose all the weight. They try to do that forever, right? 99% of the time, it's not going to be sustainable to do forever the same thing that got you to lose that weight, because you can't be in a calorie deficit forever. You can't, right? So you can either plan to not be in a deficit and plan to maintain it strategically and properly, or you can do what most people do, which is yo-yo dieting, right? You try to be in the deficit forever, but obviously you can't, so you end up binging for a week or binging for a month, or binging every weekend, and you're in a deficit Monday through Friday. Okay, you can't be, or you shouldn't try to be in a calorie deficit forever, because you're going to struggle 100%. You're going to be struggling with that, okay? And this is why in my Modern Man program, we do weekly check-ins, and why it's so important to have that part of the program. That's probably the most important part of the program, is the weekly check-ins that we do on Sundays and Mondays, because even though it only takes 2 minutes out of your entire week, it takes them 2 minutes to complete the check-in, it has the biggest return on investment. It's the most important part for seeing results, because I get feedback from the guys directly on how they're feeling, how they're doing, things that are going well, things they might need help with. And I gather all this info, all this feedback from them, and I can evaluate it on how they're doing. I can evaluate their program, what's going on, what's working for them, what might need to be adjusted. And this is when I tell them if there's any adjustments to their program that need to be made, whether it be on the nutrition side, on the cardio side, on the strength training side, whatever it may be. Okay, these adjustments that we make over many months, and in many of the cases, many years, and many of the guys that I'm working with, it's what helps them look in the mirror and be improved in their fitness, improved in their physique from year to year to year to year. Because we're constantly on top of this stuff. We're constantly adapting and adjusting their protocols to what they need to reach their new goals. All right? So, hope this makes sense. That's it for today, guys. If this resonates with you, I'd love for you to leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you'd like to explore the option of working together with me as well, to build your best physique and your best health, really optimize how you're feeling, and take things to the next level, you can shoot me a message. Don't hesitate to do that. And let's see, I've got a question or so here. Thomas, does it make a big difference if I wake up at 2:30 a.m. Monday to Friday and like 6 on the weekends, since I can't weigh in at the same time every day? It may make a little bit of a difference, depending on when you eat at night. Because if you're eating at dinner at night, which everyone is probably, it may affect, right, how quickly you're digesting that food. It definitely may affect the weigh-ins, but as long as that's consistent, right, as long as it's pretty much every week, it's not going to be too much of an issue. Just make sure you go to the bathroom first thing when you wake up. There's still no food or water in you. And just try to be as consistent as you can with it, as far as, doing that each week. And again, the weekly average is still going to be the most accurate and effective way to track your weight. Richard says, my strength has gone up, my clothes are looser, and I look better physically and mentally. My doctor told me yesterday that I look good, said to keep up the good work. That was a great remark by my doctor, and told him I was working with Jesse. Absolutely, man. I'd love to hear that, Richard. Richard's crushing it. Richard's down, I think, 10 or 15 pounds so far. Body composition's looking great, man. Keep up the good work. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. Hope this was helpful. Bye.